Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of TFG Tackles. This is Nikhil here, and I have Chiranjit Oja with me on Skype. Now, please bear in mind that we are doing this. I'm doing this from my home, and Oja is in office, so there might be a lot of disturbance. Cooking चल रहा है, बाई आएगी, पता नहीं क्या होगा. So please bear these things. कुछ भी हो सकता है. Hi Oja, how are you?
Good. This is a very unlike the usual episodes we do, on TFG Tackles, which we
I
do
know,
full
I know.
video.
And,
This
and
is,
and let me give you an
yeah.
explanation to our viewers जो भी सुन रहे हैं that yesterday I was chilling मस्त एकदम आराम से and then suddenly I started to get notifications. ट्रैफिक देखा साइट पे तो बहुत ज्यादा ट्रैफिक हो गया था and I was just wondering क्या हो रहा है and then I saw Oja's message to me that we have broke something, a big news करके he has got some report and I just went through the report and yes it is a big thesis, पूरा एक PhD कर दिया है Chiranjit Oja ने इसमें. So I just
Yes.
thought, the reason that we are doing this screencast now is because everybody doesn't know the history of what has gone through, and it's a big article. People might not like to read, so I just thought and spoke to Oja that let's get on this screencast and try to explain this one on one. मैं एकदम layman है Indian football के बारे में, so I'll be asking questions which a newbie who is getting into Indian football would ask. And to start off with, Chiranjit, just tell me why is this report or why is this article so important? You have written every Indian football fan should know. Just give us a brief history about what is over here.
So, what this report is all about? Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So, AFC constituted a joint task force back in 2016 to go about, restructuring the Indian league football system. Like, abhi I League hai, ISL hai. You talk about this league is better, that league is better.
वो तो
Competition
fight
between
चल
the
रहा है.
leagues.
Yeah.
वो fight चल रहा है and like whether players want to play in this league or that league. Officially, I League is the top division, but ISL is the better promoted, more
Yeah,
popular
marketed.
league. Why? Yeah, and the thing is, you're not supposed to have two leagues running in parallel, which are vying for attention in a league. Like every country under FIFA rules is supposed to have a singular league structure.
Right.
There should be a well-defined top division and leagues under it, and ideally there should be a link to each league by promotion relegation. So that was the goal for that commission. 2016 में AFC-FIFA said like by AIFF by itself is not taking enough steps, so let's get in and try to figure this out together so that we can solve this problem. So this report was commissioned by that joint task force, and two experts appointed by AFC and FIFA went all over the country and spoke to players, spoke to club management people, spoke to state association people,
Yeah,
spoke to
stakeholders.
AIFF, yeah, all the stakeholders. Even the AIFF and IMG Reliance people were interviewed so that they could get a proper assessment of what's going on, what is the best way to solve this, and what is the solution that's acceptable to most people. You can't please everybody. So that's why the report is so important, because it's the only piece of document we have till now which is actually a methodical research of what the stakeholders of Indian football actually want. It's proper data, right? It's verified. Everything else we hear on क्या बोलते हैं, the debates that happen on social media, or the diplomatic statements that are given out to media by the officials. It's all in its own place, but this is the meat, so to speak.
So you are
So that's
telling me,
what.
as the title suggests, it's the roadmap, like how the Indian football will go in future. And AFC and FIFA thought कि boss AIFF से नहीं हो रहा है. Let me come in, let me write a report, and let me submit it to AIFF, and they have to follow it. Is that the condition?
No. There is no. See, the idea is that what they have done, because this is supposed to be AIFF's internal matter, right? It's a domestic structure that they want to solve, and AFC and FIFA don't want to appear like they are interfering in AIFF's domestic matter. So
Right.
this is a guiding document. This is supposed to tell them like, bhai, this is a good way to go. There are almost in every single major suggestion made,
Hmm.
there are options,
Hmm.
right? Why you can do it this way, you can do it that way,
Okay.
and these are the positive or negative aspects of doing
Hmm.
things in X way or Y way. So that's what this is all about. They're trying to direct the IFF in the right direction, but
Hmm.
they can't appear to be given orders. So
Okay.
that's the whole
So
thing, I
it's up
guess.
to the discretion of AIFF or IMG to follow this or not. But this is what AFC and
Yes,
FIFA is
but
giving.
yeah, yeah, but the some of it is we can say more or less enforceable, because there is a pretty black and white mention that if by 2019, which is next year, next summer,
Hmm.
AIF and IMG Reliance don't arrive at a solution to this dual league problem,
Hmm.
Indian football clubs will not be allowed to take part in AFC competitions in 2020. So that part is enforceable. The
Oh,
details, yeah. So there is a deadline, which
okay.
I think AFC and FIFA are serious about, but the details can be worked out by AIFF and IMG Reliance.
Oh, okay, okay. So let's move on to the different slides. I can see there are 10 slides, and I have opened the first slide, which says, and this is very surprising, then we can have a open league now, like we can start it from next season. Open league is with promotion and relegation.
Yes, so there won't be relegation initially from what they have suggested, because there is that original 10-year franchisee contract
Exactly.
with ISL teams.
Hmm.
They should not, because they're paying a franchisee fee, they should not get relegated.
Hmm.
So that protection is gonna be there for them. I think if not for 10 years, then for 8 or 9 years.
Hmm.
But the most important part of promotion relegation is always promotion for lower leagues, because अगर lower league का
Who
club,
are
if they,
lower leagues?
so lower league will be, I think it's gonna be called League One. It will be the
Oh,
second
okay,
division
okay.
under ISL.
Hmm.
So the clubs, if
So
in
so
that
you're
league,
saying that the top division is ISL. Matlab, that's for sure.
yes, that's more or less
The
been
report says that.
accepted. The report says that it will get into the details of that in a future slide, but
Fair enough. ठीक है.
uh, more or less AFC and FIFA have accepted that ISL is going to be the top division
ठीक है.
after the restructuring.
ठीक है. So how many teams, when they say that there will be promotion and relegation will obviously be included in the later part of the later stages of ISL. How many teams will be included in the first division, top division rather?
So the idea is to from 2019-20, when ISL will be appointed as the top division, the idea is to have 12 teams, and that will be chosen. Either the top two teams of I League will go into ISL,
Okay.
or they will like pick it through tender, or they will be like the I League champion goes into ISL, and the other one is picked through tender. So
Tender is
what
the
they are
corporate
basically,
entry.
yeah, corporate entry, yeah.
Yeah.
But what they're basically doing here is East Bengal and Mohun Bagan are supposed to go in. So they're hoping that either one of them wins the league, and then they can say, "अच्छा एक merit से लिया, एक corporate entry से लिया." If it doesn't happen, I'm ready to bet that if neither East Bengal nor Mohun Bagan win the league in 2019, they're gonna just open a tender, and those two teams will come in through that.
Okay.
So it's basically the 10 to 12 is basically about getting East Bengal and Mohun Bagan into ISL.
पर जीत नहीं रहा है, तुम
So
लोग क्या कर रहा है?
पता नहीं यार, ये they have that's another, वो दूसरा महाभारत है जो उधर हो रहा है. It's
I mean, they are
yeah,
giving you
I don't.
chances after chances, year after year. You guys are not winning it.
It has to be. The East Bengal and Mohun Bagan officials have to be the biggest idiots not to take
Like
take this
seriously, yeah.
opportunity.
No, but
Seriously.
nothing to take away from Airzol and Minerva, for all their
Yes. Yeah.
efforts.
See, in the end, that's the beauty of football. Merit always wins.
Yeah.
Money does win. That's what it's been the case with I League for the last couple of seasons.
Okay. So
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 yeah.
you're saying that AFC and FIFA have said that 2019-20 season you should open it for promotion. Okay. But
Yeah, I mean, there will be. The idea is that whoever wins the second division in 2019-20
hmm,
will get promoted. That's an option. There are two options given. One is to like, okay, you can grow it through like corporate entry as ISL has done so far,
hmm,
or you can have this approach where either one or two teams every year get promoted from the lower league.
hmm,
So that's both the options are there. But see, the problem here is that IMG Reliance wants a franchise fee from the
yeah,
teams that are coming.
yeah,
But the problem is most independent clubs cannot raise that kind of money. 10 crore, 12 crore,
hmm,
15 crore. They don't have that kind of money. So
hmm,
what the middle ground suggested by this report is, and that's the most important part, is that there will be a participation fee.
hmm,
It will be considerably less than the franchisee fee that's charged now,
hmm,
and in return,
hmm.
those clubs will get a much smaller share of the central sponsorship pool.
Okay,
Okay, this is
okay.
this is a very crucial thing to have on table because it gives. So this is a very important option to have on table because this now gives a chance to low budget independent clubs
Hmm,
like Aizawl, Lajong, Neroka or Chennai City or Minerva Punjab or any other independent club which does not spend a big amount on the team every season. It gives them a chance to get into ISL without like selling a kidney and a hand and a leg upfront.
hmm,
Right. They will get less money back, but
hmm.
at least they get a chance to compete, right?
Yeah.
Because अगर let's say 5 crore या फिर 4 crore बोला कि upfront दे दो, that's the participation fee, and you will get the 8 or 10 crores that you get from central sponsorship pool. You're not gonna get that. You're gonna get like just 1 or 2 crore. That's okay with them. At
Hmm.
least they get to play, and once they are in ISL, their value will increase. They will get better sponsorship.
So,
So
so
you are helping the clubs, and IMG Reliance is not really losing too much money in this.
okay. So tell me, 2019-20 का सीजन जो स्टार्ट होने वाला है, okay, 2019-20 is the upcoming season?
No, no,
No.
no. 18-19
No.
is the upcoming season.
Yeah. So 18-19 would be I League and ISL going in parallel. There will be no
Parallel.
promotion relegation.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, the second division will go up to
I
I
League.
League,
Yeah, yeah. That's given. That's given.
and somebody will get relegated from I League. So
Okay.
that's
But
it.
the report suggests that you can start it from the next season itself.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay.
that's a huge. It should be the most actually important part of that entire report. And if it's enforced, then Indian football is saved. All the lower league clubs will just go at it because once you go into ISL, everybody knows the attention is gonna be there.
Hmm.
Everybody knows the sponsorship is gonna be there. It's gonna the lower league is gonna look fantastic if
Hmm.
that is brought into place.
I saw your tweet of Kashmir FC. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
imagine this gives Kashmir FC a real Kashmir FC a chance to get into ISL. Imagine if there's a high profile league team based in Kashmir, which league has managed to do that so far?
Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah. Let's move on to the next slide, which says that AIFF should establish a commission to handle
mm,
transition details. Transition from what to what?
I League ISL to the new league system.
Okay.
So this is going to be a commission where there will be representations from AIFF, IMG Reliance, maybe from the clubs as well. But I think the principal members of this commission will be external experts, which are appointed by AFC and FIFA.
Hmm.
So they will make sure everything is done by the book. Because they don't want another ISL or swap situation. We all know what's
Yeah.
happening with the SWAFF.
Huh.
So yeah, they just want to make sure everything is on the fine.
And in
So
line with the international rules and regulations
yes,
and
yes,
practices.
and that is to be expected since AFC and FIFA have decided to intervene. I wouldn't say intervene, but participate in this process of transition. So it only makes sense that they will be involved till the end of the process.
Okay. Okay, makes sense, makes sense, क्योंकि ये इन लोग से तो ये just drag हो रहा है. So
Yeah.
it actually makes sense. But then, I mean, everybody has to come on table. Everybody wants to make this happen. But सबके हिसाब से होगा कि नहीं वो पता नहीं. Okay, a good point over there. Let's move on to the next point. My PC is acting a bit weird, but Oja, you can start with the next point. It will show up on the screen.
Yeah, it's a very crucial announcement from AFC FIFA report. This is an official report,
Hmm.
an official document from those federations,
Hmm.
and it straight up endorses the involvement of IMG Reliance in Indian football. It credits them for popularizing football, spreading it, bringing in professionalism, new quality of organizing a league,
That's
and
true.
making
Hmm.
basically, yeah, making Indian football more popular throughout the country with ISL and other
Yeah, we have
competitions.
seen
So
that, huh?
yes, so what this also the more important part of this point is that the report says that IMG Reliance should maintain the control
Hmm.
of Tier 1 and Tier 2 leagues, which is the ISL and League One. These two leagues will be maintained and organized by IMG Reliance
Hmm.
or FSDL, the holding company that's doing it all.
Okay.
So if it will be run by them, and AIFF will have no day-to-day involvement
Hmm.
in the operation of those leagues.
Oh, like a
What
hundred
this does,
percent ownership kind of a thing.
not maybe not an ownership,
Hmm.
but basically they will be in charge of running it. And if that's the case, then you're gonna have pretty much how it is in ISL today. They will be in charge of all the regulations, all the venue standards.
Hmm.
Basically, the good standard that's been set by ISL is going to continue, and if they are doing it with the League One as well, then it's going to extend to the second tier. So the top two leagues are going to be managed by IMG Reliance,
Hmm.
and AIFF is going to manage the tier three, the third tier league, or we'll probably be seeing it. It will be called League Two,
Hmm.
and the national.
Okay.
So all the national teams, all the age group national teams, and everything will be managed by AIFF.
And IMG.
So
Okay. Yeah, we have actually seen, the popularity of Indian football grow after IMG came into the picture. I mean,
yeah,
seeing ISL जब से start हुआ है तब से uh, there were pockets. Kolkata था, Goa था, Kerala था, where football was really
mm,
celebrated. But now,
yeah,
it is slowly and steadily moving into different parts of the country thanks to ISL. So, yeah, it
yeah.
makes sense. But I don't think such kind of privatization is allowed anywhere else in the world in terms of football.
Well, what they are looking at it as, let's say, Premier League is a different entity, or UEFA Champions League is a different entity. Usually, those are not controlled by a consortium that's completely privately owned or
Hmm.
controlled by,
Hmm.
let's say, an entity like AMG Reliance. But they're okay to see it continue for now, and that's a big step actually. It's probably going to open up other revenues for similar companies to take up stakes in other different football federations worldwide, and it's going to be a consequential decision that
Hmm.
AFC and FIFA has made here. But for Indian football, without going into what will be the long-term effect of making such a decision, Indian football is going to benefit from this.
Right.
There's just no uh, two ways about it.
Right, right. Okay, chalo. Moving on to the next point. Which says I-League. What? Take a minute. I-League was put on death row way back
Yeah.
in 2010.
Yeah. And this is
2000.
this is 10.
Okay.
8 साल पहले they had decided that I League was going to die and get replaced. And this is
Okay.
this is yeah, one of the shockers from the
When
report,
was
because it
Bengaluru FC formed? 2013.
2013. Yeah,
Okay, so this was before Bengaluru FC came into I-League and
yeah,
so Oja, you will have to agree with me on this. Maybe you are a Bagan fan and you have been seeing all this rivalry between Bagan, East Bengal, Mohammedan Sporting. But I League actually came into limelight after Bengaluru FC, won the title, and then the whole rivalry between Bengaluru and Mumbai, Bengaluru and Mohan Bagan, it actually spiced up the league a lot.
Well, no, there was rivalry between the Kolkata and Goan
Goan
clubs.
clubs,
That
huh?
was the big thing back then. Dempo was the big guy. And they, like back then, Dempo, Salgaonkar, and Churchill used to be such gifted attacking teams. It
Hmm.
was always a pleasure to see it. So it was always a Bengal versus Goa kind
And
of a
तभी
thing.
गोवा का फैंस फुटबॉल देखता था.
Yeah, देखता था. Now
स्टेडियम में
they
जाके
see
देखता
now.
था.
They go now to see FC Goa, but back then,
Yeah.
Dempo, Salgaonkar, Sporting Club de Goa, everybody had a big fan following.
Hmm.
So yeah, it had its beauty. Kerala could not sustain it. Even back then, early 2000s, FC Kerala, sorry,
Viva.
FC Cochin was there,
Okay.
and then Viva Kerala was
Hmm.
there, but Viva Kerala was starting to weaken a little bit.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was pretty interesting back then. But the main point is that the I League brand was just 3 years old when they sentenced it to death.
Hmm.
Like they didn't even give it a chance, and that's what something I've been saying. Like the moment IMG Reliance came on board,
Hmm.
they decided I League इसको तो जाना है अभी.
Hmm.
ठीक है, and it's written it. AIFF agreed कि
And Oja,
yeah.
correct me. At that time, a committee was formed. I don't know if Pika ya करके कुछ तो, where all these Goan clubs and Kolkatan clubs, they all came together and formed a committee to
Yeah,
fight
that didn't
against.
last. No?
Hmm.
That didn't last.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
because Mohammedan Sporting was the first to loan out players to ISL. Then East Bengal, Mohun Bagan, United,
Hmm.
everybody started doing it. Only Pune and Bengaluru FC did not do it
Hmm.
in the first season. Later, they also did it. So it was pretty much a useless association. So, but that came a lot later. I mean, just imagine this. IMG Reliance came into Indian football with the express purpose of creating a separate new tournament
Hmm.
which which had the which had the target of replacing I League as a top division.
Hmm. Because
So it was all,
I'll tell you what, in 2010, it was a fashion to replicate IPL by
yeah,
every sporting association, sorry.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it took them 4 years to even come up to get started on this.
Yeah.
Probably because like nobody really thought it could be done. Only when Bengaluru FC came up and they got instant fan following, that they thought like, okay, this is a model that we can follow and get popularity.
Hmm.
So that's how ISL happened.
Hmm.
But even if you remember, in 2014 there was a Lakshya document
Yeah.
given out by AIFF,
Yeah.
which said that I League is the top division league.
Hmm.
It's going to be the focal point of the season. ISL is just there to augment it. So then I think
Which
the
is what we are
it,
hearing now also. अभी भी वही
no,
बोलते हैं, I
yeah,
League
but
is the top division.
they need. But if you are if you just like look at the quote that's given in this slide from the master rights agreement between AIFF and IMG Reliance from 2010, Lakshya document was lying to us basically. Why? If you decided in 2010 that ISL is going to become the new top division eventually by killing I League, I mean
You
by
should have.
replacing whatever discontinuation, it pretty much means ISL will come and kill I League. That's what you wanted since 2010. So why are you telling us in 2014 that I League is going to be the focal point? Be
Hmm.
honest with us.
Hmm.
Be just let us know. That this is your idea. This is the path you want to follow. So it also calls into question what a lot of people, AIFF top officials, have been telling us, like even Praful Patel and Secretary Kushal Das. They have been repeatedly saying that I League was a commercial failure.
Hmm.
That's why we decided to start with ISL in order to uh, start things up and stir things up and make everybody compete harder and become commercially
Hmm.
more attractive, viable.
Hmm.
So, and that I heard that same statement being repeated even last year.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So, if we have a situation where you have agreed in 2010 that I League is going to die, then how are you using that as an excuse? You agreed that you were going to kill I League in 2010, and then So then that means you just made sure it was gonna die.
Mm,
Then maybe you caused the commercial failure of I-League
mm,
by not trying to promote it. Just let it decline, not try to make it popular, not try to support it in any way, cut funding from the promotion of I-League so that it slowly becomes less attractive to the sponsors. And then you can say, oh, look, I-League is failing. And now we need ISL. So
okay.
that's what it, that's what I think happened. I League never had a chance to succeed because the people running it didn't want it to succeed.
Okay, okay. चलो, this was a very surprising 2010 में ही decide कर लिया था. Okay. ठीक है. Moving on to the next point. Both AFC spots may go to Super Cup for one season.
This-
क्यों?
yeah. Okay, so actually, when the Super Cup original proposal came,
Hmm.
it AIFF wanted to show it as the ultimate competition in Indian football, where I League and ISL teams come together, and now we can really see who's the best and all that stuff.
Hmm.
So they wanted to put all the AFC spots in Super Cup. Like the winner gets ACL qualification, the runner-up gets the AFC Cup qualifier
Hmm.
spot. So that the idea was to go around the if it was to be used if ISL did not get AFC recognition. Okay.
Okay.
But then I-League clubs protested against it. They said, like, why are you taking away the ACL qualifier spot from I-League? And then ISL also got recognized by AFC, so it could get the AFC Cup qualifier spot. So then Super Cup just became a tournament. The winner doesn't go to play in
Hmm.
Asia.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right. So what this report says is that the way you originally thought about it, do it for one season so that both I League and ISL teams have a chance to fight for a place in the 2020 AFC competitions.
Hmm.
And this serves as a temporary measure because both I League and ISL are going to change after that, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna have a newly constituted league. It will have the ISL brand name,
Hmm.
but it's gonna be a new league that's taking over as the new top division, right? So use this as a let's say just क्या बोलते हैं Packers and movers का thing. Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
from
So
moving
so
from one
when
place
is
to another.
so which
Yeah.
is this one season?
The This is the next season, 2018-19.
The upcoming.
It's not the upcoming season. So that's what might happen, but it's not a done deal. If AIFF has to speak to all the clubs and get them to agree on it.
Hmm.
Last time they tried to do it, the clubs blocked it. So
Hmm.
this time they may block it again. But this is part of what they're proposing.
AFC and FIFA, because I guess it will be against the rules of AFC and FIFA if the league winners are not pushed into qualifiers, Champions League qualifiers. But अगर वो
Yeah,
लोग खुद ही बोल रहे हैं तो
yeah, I don't know. I mean, the league winner is supposed to go, but I guess these are extraordinary circumstances. This
but
also
are
supposed to be
there
just one league.
extraordinary circumstances?
Yeah, of course. India has been in extraordinary circumstance since ISL came. You're not supposed to have two leagues.
Yeah.
That's the big deal. Who's the bigger league? Who's the smaller league? All that thing goes on. And if you take away the Asian Cup spots from there, sorry,
Hmm.
the AFC Cup and ACL spots from the two leagues, then you no longer have a clear definition of which is the bigger league, which is a small league, or that kind of a jostle between them. You just tell them, okay, top six clubs from every league, I League, ISL play in Super Cup,
Hmm.
others play qualifiers. Now you fight it out and win your Asian spot.
Okay.
So yeah, it's and yeah, I guess they're also throwing I League under the bus here, but this is what they're gonna have to do. So
Okay. The next point is a mother statement. Everybody wants one league.
yeah, everybody wants. That's the the big this is I think it's sort of a tongue-in-cheek point they made in the report.
Hmm.
When they go out and speak to people who are working in Indian football, players, club officials, others, administrators, everybody says, yeah, I League ISL kya chal raha hai? You know, we should have a one league system, and we should have promotion relegation. That's the question. If everybody wants it, why is it taking so long to happen?
Because you Kolkatan
Kaiko,
clubs are making such a hue and cry out of it, no?
No, they also want it. They have been they have been some of the people who have been shouting about it. Let's have a unified league from the very beginning. But the hue and cry, the shouting, the delay from Kolkata clubs is about
80K.
internal squabbles. Not
Okay.
80K. Like yeah, part of the problem is 80K because they're not gonna leave Kolkata for 2 years just because 80K wants to sit pretty by itself in Kolkata. So
Hmm.
that's also there, but that problem is gonna go away from 2019. So it
Hmm.
seems everything will hopefully fall into place. But this you have to wonder who's the entity who doesn't want this to happen.
Hmm.
And I'm talking the whole shebang, the merger of the two leagues, the promotion relegation. Because even when I talk to officials and players, they also say like, why do I have to worry about whether the club is going to play in I League or ISL?
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
if everybody was in the same league, I would just consider कौन ज्यादा पैसा दे रहा है और कहाँ पे मेरे को खेलने ज्यादा
Hmm.
गेम टाइम मिलेगा.
Obvious.
Now some players are convinced that they should rather sit in the bench in ISL rather than play regularly in I League,
Hmm.
just because ISL has the more viewership and the bigger spotlight.
Hmm.
Right, so they are forced to take that chance. Whereas if they if they go for another team which may be in I League, they might get a better chance of playing regularly. So see, if you don't have this disparity in the amount of promotion and publicity that these two leagues get, if you get that out of the way by playing them in the same league,
Hmm.
then it becomes easier for everybody. But somebody doesn't want that. That's why it hasn't happened. And
Yeah.
that somebody has to have power. Clubs don't have power to join leagues or split
Ah.
leagues.
Ah.
It's the people who have the power to do that. They don't want that to happen. That's why it hasn't happened. So that I think is a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek insinuation there.
Yeah,
But this is
but you
just
are
my
optimistic by 2019 this will be all sorted.
Yeah, thankfully, if AFC and FIFA make that, they actually go ahead and enforce this
Okay.
to that entire deadline. Let's see
Hmm.
how that turns out
Yeah,
over the
yeah.
next
We
few
we have been
years.
talking about this for past I don't know how many
Oh,
years now.
yes.
ठीक है.
Yeah.
The next point, Acha, the next point talks about reducing the number of foreign players, which is actually, the right way to do it.
Yes.
Hmm.
Why should we not have just four foreign players in the squad? Because that's how much we are allowed in the AFC competitions.
Hmm.
And I don't really buy the argument that more foreign players lead to more people being interested. The
No.
people the clubs have established themselves
Hmm.
already. Okay,
Hmm.
Delhi ka hai, they like football, they're gonna go watch Delhi Dynamos.
Yeah.
Okay, the clubs don't have to like have that extra makeup on them with extra foreigners and to just draw crowd.
Yeah,
It's I think
that's
it's
the
time.
gist of the sport. I mean, so if you take cricket, okay,
Yeah,
cricket is more of an icon follower kind of a
yeah,
sport. अगर धोनी
yeah,
चेन्नई से पुणे जाता है तो I will support Pune. It happens. It has happened. But
yeah.
football is not the same. There is so much
No.
connect with the club, with the city, and that's
Mhm.
how it is. So bringing in foreign players, top players from the world will not suffice,
Yeah.
for a
Yeah,
long term.
I mean, just look at did Delhi Dynamos get anything out of bringing Alejandro Del Piero?
Yeah, yeah.
Did ATK brought in who Robbie Keane, whoever?
Hmm.
Did
First
they
season
did
में
it
तो
make
क्या
any
क्या था?
difference?
Perez and Bloomberg and
Yeah, Robert
what
Perez
not.
looked so bad. It was sad. It was so sad. I wanted to get out and leave. I didn't want, like, Robert Pires, one of my idols growing up. He's playing against ATK in Salt Lake Stadium for FC Goa. He's not used to the turf. He
Uh,
doesn't have the speed, doesn't have the ball control. I'm like, why am I looking at this? So it's a good thing. Already ISL teams are no longer like going for old
and
players like that.
in fact,
So
this uh, not so known players who came to ISL, someone like Steven Mendoza, he
yeah,
kind of flared up ISL the way he played. But
yeah,
he was not the big name then. आज के
yeah,
तारीख में he is considered.
yeah,
So good that it actually also gives Indian players, a lot of Indian players chance to, and this is an Indian league, so check the
yeah.
foreigners.
I mean, if you're gonna copy IPL, even IPL has a limit of four foreigners
Yeah, that's true.
in the playing 11. But
Hmm.
this is, you already have an AFC rule saying चार ही रखते हैं. Just keep it at that way, because ultimately the idea is to structure the way teams in domestically in a way that it doesn't face that adjustment problem when it goes on to play in AFC. Right,
True.
like Bengaluru FC faced कि वो गया खेलने, लेकिन suddenly they had to play a lot of players who didn't have game time, because in ISL they could use 5+3 foreigners in every game,
Hmm.
and here suddenly the number of foreigners went down to half of that.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
they had that adjustment problem. But uh, if this goes away, if we reduce the number of foreigners, when we're back on, I think we can go back to the kind of dominance that Dempo had back then when we were beating West Asian clubs.
Yeah.
I don't think we've beaten West Asian clubs since then.
Hmm.
Ever since we went for all this क्या बोलते हैं, रंगबाजी with
Hmm.
how many foreigners are
Hmm.
there.
Okay. Moving on. Single player registration
Yeah, remember,
system. Avinash
yeah,
Rohidas.
Avinash
Yeah.
Rohidas क्या हो गया था
Sad
उसका.
saga यार. Yeah.
Yeah,
पर अभी क्या?
I mean,
What is the
IFA
situation now? Just to
he's
brief
with
our
Mumbai
viewers,
City.
क्या है?
Oh, that was so somebody did a handwriting analysis of the signatures. It turned out that East Bengal had forged the signature
Hmm.
because through some sort of device, like every signature was 100% copy paste of each other.
Okay.
So which does not happen if you actually make the signature, because
I know
human
man.
variation happens.
I
So
know. मेरे को पूछो बैंक में कितना प्रॉब्लम होता है. हाँ.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. So either he has the Avinash Ruidas has the steadiest hands in the history of humanity, or it's forged. So yeah, that's what happened. But because it was done by a journalist, it was an independent study. There is no controversy regarding it. Nobody is pursuing anything
हाँ.
against East Bengal. So Avinash Ruidas went to Mumbai City. He played happily, whatever.
Hmm.
But you remember IFA ruled that Avinash should go to East Bengal just because there was that token system which only applied in West Bengal, right?
Oh,
And
okay. Yeah.
and AIFF had to come in and say no, that token system does not apply at the national level, and it's Mumbai City who has the right to keep Avinash Ruda. So ऐसा जो रूल का जो क्लैश कभी कभी होता है, because some of the state associations still have archaic rules which have not been updated since 1960, 1920. In IFS case, it's probably 1850 or something like that. Have a national registration system where there are uniform rules
Hmm.
and don't have these kind of confusions happening anywhere anymore.
Okay. Yeah. Works. Final 2 point. More importance to player association. Okay. FPAI. Yeah.
Yeah,
है क्या
so
अभी आज के तारीख में? Is there any importance? Do these association have any voice?
well, let's say not everybody goes out and agrees with FPI that this is the organization that should represent all Indian football players. So that problem is still there. But uh, what it just recognizes that Indian players should have an official union, and that union should be allowed to engage with the federation in terms of deciding how things are run and how what conditions players serve under. Like you remember that draft system when ISL draft happened for a third time, like the 2017 draft.
Hmm.
FPAI just put out a statement against it. Even FIFPro came out and supported FPAI,
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
like the player should have the right to choose which team he plays for. It should not be like a blind lottery,
Hmm.
right? Because then you're taking that right away from the player. So these kind of issues, also contractual issues. If players want to do a collective bargaining to raise their own wages
Hmm.
with the federation, they have the right to do that. So
Also
basically,
injuries.
injuries, yeah, who's gonna take care of
Hmm.
it, who's gonna and it's also legal advice. Sometimes not all the players have well-to-do agents who can give them that kind of help.
Hmm.
Some agents can, some agents cannot,
Hmm.
and at that time they can just come to a player association who's gonna do it pro bono. Like uh, I think they charge a membership fee, and then they just give you all kinds of help. So
Okay.
it's if they can't afford their own help, it's beneficial to them, and it's there in almost every developed footballing country. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good that
It,
that
you know what?
union.
This point actually clashes with the point where AFC says that a private organization should, run the system. When a private organization runs the system, it doesn't want union. And
No, but
FP.
it doesn't matter what they want with the players' unions, right? I mean,
Hmm.
they can conduct the leagues,
Hmm.
but they can't interfere with the players' rights to unionize.
Hmm.
And I'm not gonna say like that only IMG Reliance will not want this to happen. East Bengal and Mohun Bagan have a history of specifically targeting and crushing the attempts for players to unionize for a
Hmm.
long
Hmm.
time. Like even going even 1970s, 80s, 90s, there are instances where players tried to unionize, and these clubs led the charge to like target those individuals, blacklist them,
Hmm.
and then threaten other players. Ki agar if you join some union or something like that,
Hmm.
you will lose your place here.
Yeah.
It has happened. So there are the people who have been in power have always tried to crush unions like this. And
Hmm.
if 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 the federation recognizes a union,
Hmm.
then we don't that power is taken away from them. So they
Okay.
gain a legitimacy. They can now become an official, interlinked partner with FIFPro, which is the international union of football players. So now
Okay.
they will have a direct link with even FIFA.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So all of that, and because FIFPro does the bargaining with FIFA, they
Hmm.
can do the same thing locally. And if Indian players are wronged, then you can see international players also coming out and raising their voice and trying to help.
Hmm.
So that's the importance of having a players union, which is well connected with the global union as well.
Okay. Okay. So, guys, if you want to know more about FPAI, we have an interview with Renedy Singh, who kinds of head FPAI. So
He's
maybe
the current head, yeah.
yeah, we should give a link in the description or in the
Yes.
article somewhere where people can go and listen to what
Yeah.
FPI is all about. Okay, for the last point, licensing of state association, which is very important. हम leagues करते रहते
Yeah.
हैं, but what happens to states? I mean, Mumbai or Maharashtra, I guess they
Yeah.
won't be having any team other than Mumbai City, won't be having any team in I League or in second division.
Yeah.
And maybe somewhere the state association is, should be made responsible for this.
Yeah, I mean, look at just continuing with the Maharashtra example.
Hmm.
Kolhapur, it's such a huge hotspot for
Yeah,
Indian football in,
yeah,
in,
true.
in, in Western India. Why have you not seen like people trying to form a club out of it? Sometimes people who are like on the ground, let's say we don't have people in Kolhapur with all the money and all the means to just start a club out of Kolhapur and make it like participate in second division or something like that.
Mm,
Right. But what the state association can do is that they can connect them with the potential sponsors. They can
yeah.
connect them, they can market it to them. They can market Kolhapur and even offer it as a franchisee to somebody.
Mm,
Right. Anyway, Maharashtra doesn't have a team, like Mumbai doesn't have a team in second division anymore. Even Pune doesn't have a team in second
mm.
division.
No,
Why not? So the state association could do that, but most state associations don't do these kind of extra helping or going out of the way to nourish football and help it grow. They just don't do it. Like Maharashtra is a better example. It has a league. It has a multi-tiered state league, but not a state league. There's a Mumbai league and there's a
mm,
Pune league and all that stuff. but there are state associations which just don't do anything. Like
Yeah.
there's just one or two competitions which run 2-3 weeks, and that's it. It just stays dormant for most of the year,
Mm.
and that cannot continue. Like this is the case with most of the states. Most of the states don't have a state league.
Mm.
Why? That's the idea, that you're gonna have to the licensing, just like the clubs have to go through licensing, which ensures that they do grassroots, they do youth development, they try to garner local talent, engage with the community. Same licensing system should be there for state associations,
Yeah.
which says you have these duties, you have to fulfill them,
Grassroots.
otherwise you
Actually,
lose your license.
grassroots should be responsibility of state association.
Yeah, it's part of their responsibility already, but because you don't have a licensing system, you can't enforce it.
Yeah.
There is no consequence now. Like if we have a license, AIFF can say, hey, you didn't do your bit, your
Yeah.
license is suspended for 1 year, so you're not going to get any aid, you're not going to get any funds from the AIFF.
Mm. Mm.
If you're not going to doing your work, then why should we keep giving you money?
Yeah. Yeah.
So so all of that, it affects
Yeah. This is
the
this is
way.
where cricket steps ahead, and we can see the difference of now
Yes.
what other sports can learn from cricket. Their state associations are are at par with any top organizations in the world. It's kind of, and that's why we see so many players coming out of from from local, or sorry, interiors of India, right? Right now, if you see in cricket. So if AIFF can do something of state association, licensing is the best step to go ahead with. Okay, so yeah, that's it, Oja. I think all the 10 points have been discussed. Hopefully, people who don't like to read should listen to our
They
screencast.
should read also. यार
अरे
लिखा है
सब लोग
यार,
नहीं रीड करता रे.
लिखा है यार, मेहनत करके जाके पढ़ो ना यार, क्या आ जाता है.
तो मेहनत तो यहाँ पे भी है. But people, if you want to have a detailed look on the report, the link is in the description. It's also on our website, thefangarage.com. And if you have any questions, you can connect with Chiranjit Oja, who is available on Twitter at Chiranjit Oja. He can answer all your questions. For everything else, please contact AIFF.
No, that's the whole point of this article. It's to have this information out there, so that if they do any less,
Uh,
then the best options suggested by the AFC FIFA, we can hold them accountable to this. Ki AFC said this was a possibility.
mm,
We could have had something better. Why didn't you do it?
mm, mm,
Then they have to defend it. Otherwise, if we didn't know that that was even on the table, that was even suggested by the AFC or FIFA,
mm,
then what do we ask them about? We just have to take them on their word on everything,
yeah,
right? So it's just you just saw that they decided to kill I League
I
back in
League, yeah.
2010. Then I don't want, I seriously don't want to take them on their word. I just don't have the trust anymore. So I would much rather have more transparency. I would much rather have the information out there, and I would really request AFC and FIFA to go ahead and officially submit this report to AIFF. It's held up because of various reasons. I think the primary reason is that Justice Dr. VP Qureshi, sorry,
Mm,
YS Qureshi, I think, SY
mm,
Qureshi, sorry. SY Qureshi and Bhaskar Ganguly are rewriting the AIFF constitution so that it adheres to the Indian Sports Code, and you're gonna have a election in AIFF after that. So once all that is out of the way, this is gonna be officially submitted
mm.
to the AIFF, and then within 6 weeks of that, you will start seeing action. Because
Oh,
there is a deadline in the report that says after the official submission, you have 6 weeks to form the League Transition Commission,
huh.
right? So for them to wait out the election, because they want to make sure whoever forms the League Transition Commission is the group that's going to be in power to see the process through. Otherwise, like let's say the current ones form the commission and then they get voted out and the new people come in, and it makes things more complicated, right? So
Mm.
that's part of the problem. Hopefully the speed is hopefully Dr. Qureshi, Justice Qureshi speeds up. Hopefully the whole process just happens, because we've waited long enough. No
Yeah,
more,
yeah.
please.
True, true, true. So, guys, on that note, we'll close this screencast. If you want to have, regular updates on Indian football, @TFG Football is the Twitter handle. Please follow us. Follow Chiranjit Oja. He is always on Indian football. He can talk, sleep, eat, walk, everything about Indian football. On that
Not all
note,
the time. Huh?
yeah.
I crack a lot of poor jokes and bad puns.
Yeah, we know that. So on that note, let's close this. Thank you. Goodbye. Read the articles. Bye bye.
All right.